Amelia says, Kaiora, good morning from the Southern Hemisphere. Well and full and one now, friends. Looking forward to the quiz topic. Don't know anything about Derrick Lee Todd. Unable to join chat, just listening along. All right, sounds good, Amelia. Notification set. See y'all soon. Sending all thoughts and blessings from the Lurkers Lounge. And hello, Cement Shoes and Inner Peas. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you both had a great weekend. Gemma, good evening, Gemma. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I understand that a lot of people are not familiar with Derrick Lee Todd, but he is one of the serial killers, and it just happens to be a little bit more interesting to some people who may actually know more about him. Kirikou, Lori Sutton, and Sal, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. But Derrick Lee Todd, otherwise known as the Baton Rouge serial killer or the Baton Rouge killer. Lemon Pie, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend. Pretty uneventful for me this weekend, Gemma. It rained all weekend. It's still raining right now where I am, so didn't get much done. I did get my tomatoes planted in my garden though, so I got that done. And I mean, actually did it in the actual rain. Finished it up, getting them in the ground. Shelter in, says Amelia. Rackart, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Remember to sub to our friend Gemma's channel. Yes, if you have not checked out Gemma's channel, I would encourage you to go over and check it out. If you like the content, give her a thumbs up and subscribe to her content. Very brave, and admirable for everything that Gemma does, sharing her story, her journey in life with us all. It's humid today in Tennessee. Yeah, it's very humid here, and obviously, a lot of rain. The humidity's through the roof, but that's awful. Well, the UK has. Oh. Uh-oh. I'm going to step away for just a second. I'll be right back. Forgot to lock the door to the studio. I can see out the window. My son is out there running around in the rain in his rain boots. At least he put on pants for this. That's not something that he normally does. He likes to run around in just his underwear and a t-shirt and rain galoshes. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to Purple. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Give it another minute here, and then we're going to get the trivia started. Wait for the latecomers to join in with us. But I hope you had a great weekend, Purple. We don't want a peep show, Will. Even if he had clothes on Inner Peace, I refuse to have him on camera. Exploit him for views, like so many other parents do with their children. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, I don't understand why they do it, but that's the world we live in, though. It's bank holiday weekend here. Wow. Freaking Barry Morphew. Freaking Bam Barry Mountain Lion Morphew. All right, let's get this trivia going, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 306th episode of Trivia. 306. A bit of background on who Derrick Lee Todd is. Demon, known as the Baton Rouge Killer, was first killed in the 1990s, but it would take over a decade for police to track him down as he terrorized Louisiana, often pretending to be a person in need to gain his victims' trust, taking a page directly out of the playbook of a fellow serial killer, Ted Bundy. That tells you a little bit about the man that we're actually doing trivia about tonight. Warning, viewer discretion is advised. I know for a while I have not had a viewer discretion issue, but because I'm now streaming to 2 different platforms again, along with YouTube, so 3 total, I must put a viewer discretion notice on every single one of these trivia nights. So some of the content that is on tonight's trivia may be disturbing to some viewers. This content is age restricted to 16 years of age plus. If anyone watching is under the age of 16, they are doing so by cheating the system. This content does not necessarily express the views or interests of advertisers of this content. All right, question number 1 is now on the screen. And good evening, Gianna Marie. Question number 1. Derrick was at first not considered a suspect in the rapes and murders in and around Baton Rouge. Why? Is it A, he is African American? B, he didn't match eyewitness accounts? C, he had a good job? Or D, he was too well liked? Derrick was at first not considered a suspect for the rapes and murders in and around Baton Rouge. Why? Then you can't watch. Sal, Left-Handed RN. Good evening, Left-Handed RN. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm going to get myself in my little window here in a second. I got to take a swig of coffee. Got to keep my voice nice and there I am, my little window. Hello. He told everyone he was Barry Bonds. It's funny, Interpees. I can see that the somewhat of similarity, especially in the eyes of Barry Bonds. It's unfortunate that Barry Bonds decided to do steroids. You'd think he would have been first ballot Hall of Famer either way, but cheat the system. He is a Jersey Shore cast member. A good one, Lemon Pie. A Jersey Shore cast member. All right, question number 1. Derrick was not at first considered a suspect in the rapes and murders in and around Baton Rouge. Why? The correct answer is because he is African American. A is the correct answer. The FBI had originally put together a profile for the Louisiana and McKay Police Department that basically told them that they were looking for a white or Caucasian individual between the ages of 20 and 35, and that he would be somebody who had a job that allowed him to freely move in and around and out of the Louisiana area. Well, Derrick had a job. He worked at the same place. He wasn't able to freely move around. He had a car, but he's also African American. So the profile initially didn't match him at all. Now, additionally, there were some eyewitness accounts that did say that there was an African American man who had been seen in and around the area, but they had discounted them off the almost immediately. Like, no, we're looking for a white man, and well, that doesn't match Derrick Lee Todd. All right, question number 2. Two of the victims of Mr. Todd were kidnapped and drove a great distance away. Then they were tortured and murdered. How far did he take these two victims? Is it A, 20 miles, B, 120 miles, C, 30 miles, or D, 144,000 miles away? Two of the victims of Mr. Todd were kidnapped and drove a great distance away. Then they were tortured and murdered. How far did he take these two victims? Question number 2 of 20. Baton Rouge is wild. Traffic is wild. Yeah. I've been there a couple of times, right, Cart? Most of the last time I was there was probably about 1995-ish. It was either 95 or 96. Last time I was there. And that was during Mardi Gras. We went to Paducah, Kentucky first, and then we went to Baton Rouge for Mardi Gras celebrations. I liked it there. It was interesting. Completely different, life, and pace of life from, what I was used to. D, of course, because he belongs. How far did Derrick Lee Todd take these two victims? Question number 2 of 20. All right, the answer to question number 2 is C as in cat. He took them 30 miles from where he abducted and kidnapped them before he found a place where he wanted to torture and dump their bodies after murdering them. 30 miles of the two of his actual known victims. We'll get into that, the answer to that a little bit later on here. Question number 3. Of the 7 known victims that Mr. Todd killed, one victim stands out from the rest. This one was personal to him. Which victim was personal to him? Was it A, Charlotte Pace, B, Mary Stewson, C, Diana Alexander, or D, Maria de Soto? Of the 7 known victims that Mr. Todd killed, one victim stands out from the rest. This one was personal to him. Which victim was personal to him? E, Snooky. Snooky. Snooky makes an entry tonight. Question number 3 of 20. Katie Koo is going with A. Lori Sutton D. Lemon Pie A. Gamma is going with A. Purple C. Gianna Marie is going with A. Question number 3 of 20. Which victim was personal to him? Rock Hart's going with D question mark. Lemon Pie is going with Pat Sajak. Pat Sajak, yeah, that was personal to him. Question number 3 of 20. The correct answer is A as in apple. Charlotte Pace was personal to him. This is part of an interview that he gave to an ABC news affiliate out of the state of Louisiana. He said that the abduction and murder of Charlotte Pace was personal, that he always wanted to be with someone like her. and he wanted to control someone like her. And that's as far as he would go in actually talking about Charlotte Pace, that it was personal, and that he wanted to be with someone like that, and he wanted to control someone like that who looked like her. But he refused to talk about it any further than that. Question number 4. There was a rumor that Derrick Lee Todd used something to lure his victims to answer the doors of their homes. It was false, but it didn't stop the rumor. What was it that people believed he used? Was it A, Amazon deliveries, B, a child's voice, C, a recording of a crying baby, or D, a police officer's uniform? Blue Devil pick. Sal, I meant C. Lori, Lemon, and Gemma are all going with D, a police officer's uniform. Lieutenant Ariane's going with C. So is Gianna Marie are going with C. Inner Peas is going with KFC. Standing at front door with a bucket full of chicken. Right car, A or D? A and D. Oh, A and D. An Amazon delivery in a police officer's uniform. The freeze Candygram. Question number 4 of 20. Avon books. Avon calling. Question number 4 of 20. What was the rumor that he used to lure people to answer their front door? The correct answer is C as in cat. It was a rumor that he had a tape recorder that played the sound of a crying baby. So these women would come to their door and unlock it to see if there was a baby outside of their front doors. It was a rumor. And several television shows have actually run with that idea that that was how he lured people to their doors. Some of the TV shows that actually did episodes that where they went on with the actual rumor itself. Criminal Minds, Law and Order, an SVU episode of Law and Order, just to name 2 of them that actually did episodes based on the murders and the crimes of Derrick Lee Todd. But they went on and talked about the crying baby as the reason or how they got them to lure them to answer their front door. So, but it wasn't true. And the police did everything they could to let everyone know. Now, yeah, that never happened. It didn't happen, and everything else. But people still believe it to this day. There are internet pages, where you can go and you can actually look up Derrick Lee Todd, and it talks in great detail about the crying baby recordings, which are never proven to have ever existed. All right, question number 5. Unlike a lot of serial killers, Derrick Lee Todd changed his method of killing, torturing his victims and his victim type. Why did he say he did this? Was it A, to throw off law enforcement? B, he desired different victims? C, he wanted to be like Barry Morphew? Or D, victims were just opportunity? Question number 5 of 20. They were putting something in that KFC. You thought all burgers at KFC. Lemon pie and purple are going with B. Juicy Jules. Good evening, Juicy Jules, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Kitty Q is going with A. I hope you had a great weekend, Juicy Jules. Glad you could be here with us tonight. Barry was his mountain lion. Gianna Marie is going with B. Rycart's going with C. Kitty Q is going with A? Question mark? Maybe? Could be. For question number 5. Question number 5. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond joys has nuts, mounds don't. Right, a mountain lion hypodermic. And her piece is on a roll. All right, question number 5. The correct answer is B as in boy. He desired different types of victims. He didn't kill just African American women. He killed white women. He killed African American women. And he changed his MO, his modus of operandi, how he killed them, how he got into their homes, everything about it. But it wasn't done to throw off law enforcement. He said he did it because he just liked different women. He liked different types of victims. Some he would pick because they looked like they could fight back. Other ones he picked because they were just different from the last one. All right, question number 6. Most of Derrick Lee Todd's victims, not all, he spent weeks watching, learning everything he could about them. What did he do to pass the time when not watching his next victim? Is it A, he played cards at a local bar? B, he hung out at a XXX rental store. That's the XXX adult movie store. Or C, he worked a lot. Or D, he got higher than the Empire State's Building. Most of Derrick Lee Todd's victims, not all, he spent weeks watching, learning everything he could about them. What did he do to pass the time when not watching his next victim? The big orange man. Yeah, it is interesting though, Reichard, that of all the pictures that I pulled up through Getty images, I found him in I think a total of like 9 different colors of jumpsuits or outfits for court. Kitty Q and Sal are both going with C. Lemon Pie is going with B. Question number 6 of 20. I was going to be a serial killer, but binge watching the Jersey Shore, says Inner Peas. Purple's going with C. Rockart D, and then he fought Godzilla. Question number 6 of 20. What did Derrick Lee Todd do to pass the time when not watching his next victim? All right, the correct answer for question number 6 is, in fact, D as in dog. He smoked an awful lot of weed. He got higher than the Empire State Building and did nothing. But it turns out that the actual his usage of marijuana had two reasons for it. One, it calmed him down, and he was less likely to want to go out and actually commit more crimes. Now, Derrick Lee Todd didn't just rape, murder, and torture people. He was also a serial burglar. He was also, a serial. He acted as a fence. People would sell him, or he would help people sell stolen items. He was into the criminal underworld, very deep. But he would sit around after watching another victim for weeks on end, and then killing them. And after he learned everything he could about them, he would just get high. I mean, he worked. He had a job. He had a really good job too. All right, question number 7. During an interview from death row, Mr. Todd told ABC News reporter, who was female, that he would love to do what with her? Was it A, kiss her lips while slowly killing her? B, take her out dancing? C, eat her tender flesh from her face? Or D, eat the tender flesh from her breast? What did he say to this female reporter? Which I don't know why you would, if you're a news station, you'd put somebody, a news reporter in the same room with someone like him. I mean, yeah, there was plexiglass between the two of them, but where he was on one side and she was on the other side of the plexiglass, they weren't like he could actually get to her. But what did he actually say to her? Ride card's going with A, C, and D. Kitty Q, B, I hope. Lemon pie is going with A. But when Derrick, tell you the side thing. So the last question I alluded to that he would spend weeks watching his victims. He would find a location that he thought that nobody would notice him. Sometimes he'd be sitting in a parked car, just watching the victim and where they went to work, when they came home, what they ate, when they used the bathroom. He watched everything he could through a window, or whatever it was available to him. And he would watch these women for weeks on end, learning everything he could, taking actual notes on a piece of paper that he kept in his pocket along with an ink pen. And sometimes he would actually get out of his vehicle and he'd stand in the bushes outside of a window watching in, everything that the victim did. And he was arrested several times for being a serial peeping Tom. That was the times when he was actually watching his victim. And incidentally, all of the victims that he was watching where he was arrested for being a peeping Tom, he never killed any of them. He figured it would have been too much of a excuse me, there'd be too much of a connection if that individual ended up being murdered right away or anytime thereafter. They're like, oh, we had a serial peeping Tom outside of her window. I bet that person's the person who killed her. So he never went back to actually kill that person. He loved to do the news flash. Inner peas. Order some pizza and binge Golden Girl. Purple's going with A. Cement shoes is A. Gianna Marie is going with B. All right, question number 7. The correct answer is D as in dog. D as in dog. He said he would love to get close to her and whisper in her ear and then slowly nibble on the skin under her breast as he took a bite from it. D as in dog. Yes, not a very nice guy, is he? Question number 8. Oh, first I want to do this one. Don't go to Baton Rouge. During the time Derrick Lee Todd, the serial rapist, was hunting and killing, there was another serial killer hunting and killing and raping victims in the exact same locations. Sean Vincent Gillis was hunting and killing victims at the same time. On more than two times, there were victims from each of them were found on the same day. Other times, there was a victim found by Sean Vincent Gillis, and then the next day, one of Derrick Lee Todd was found, and it went back and forth like this. And the Baton Rouge, the police department, and the McCade police department were they were at first they were like, okay, do we have one serial killer? Do we have 2 serial killers? Or do we have 3 serial killers all working in the same location at the same time? Now, super creepy. This is not the only time in history that 2 serial killers were working in the same area in the U.S. It's happened multiple times in and around the Los Angeles, California area, but this is the 3rd time it's happened in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area. Don't go to Baton Rouge. All right, question number 8. Derrick Lee Todd wasn't always a homicidal, crazy man. He had a gentle side of him and a love for what? Was it A, he loved to grow flowers? B, he cared for homeless animals? C, he did cross stitching? Or D, he cared for his elderly neighbors? Good evening, Gala, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend. Glad you could be here with us. Derrick Lee Todd wasn't always a homicidal, crazy man. He had a gentle side of him, and he loved for what? Question number 8 of 20. Lemmy Paul is going with A. Smith Shoes is going with B. 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 He didn't wear white after Labor Day. That'd be a giant faux pas. I've only picked up on the delivered cargo into Baton Rouge once. That didn't feel an eerie feeling there. Kitty Kid is going with D? Question mark? Gianna Marie is going with B. And Lemon Pie, the Gilmore Girls. Derrick Lee Todd wasn't always a homicidal, crazy man. Nope. He had a gentle side to him and a love for what? Rod Card's going with C. He was into cross stitching. Wow. Sunny and breezy. Question number 8 of 20. All right, question number 8. The correct answer is B as in boy. He fed homeless animals, particularly dogs and cats that he found in and around the city while he was out watching, his next victim. If he saw a cat in the alleyway, he would put food out for him. If he saw a dog in the park, he would give the dog water and food, and at least they got a meal from the man. But he really, this was something he always did. He didn't drive around with these, like cat food and dog food. He'd find it in homeless animals, and he'd go into a little convenience store, buy a can of food. I mean, he didn't have a dish or anything to put it on, so he dumped it out probably on the ground. I don't know. I wasn't there. But he took care of homeless animals as he came across them. Okay, question number 9. Derrick Lee Todd was convicted of 7 murders that happened in the early part of 2000s and late 1990s. The FBI believes he may have killed at least 9 more. Why was he never charged with those murders? Is it A, they charged someone else with them? B, no confession, no charges. C, Snooki did them. Or D, no DNA evidence or confession. He was an animal lover, but he hated women. He hated every woman he ever met, Reichart. Women were not even really individuals to Derrick Lee Todd. They were there to serve a purpose, and once that purpose was served, they weren't worth anything to him. Absolutely nothing. They were lower than the dirt underneath his boots. 11 Pod Gala, Kitty Q, and Left Hand RN, and Cement Shoes are all going with D. Inner Peas. He was forgiven because he fed stray cats. Did his mother spank him? You know, Gala, I wasn't able to find much information on his mother or father. I don't know if they did. But we know, from serial killers, though, according to the FBI and the Department of Justice, serial killers all have, there's certain things that happen to them. Not all, but most serial killers have three to 5 things that happen to them in their early childhood. Either physical abuse, sexual abuse, or mental abuse, lack of nutrition, or they were bullied or by they were bullied by someone else at their age, or there was somebody from outside of the family who knew that child was being abused, and that person, instead of protecting the child, encouraged the abuser. So serial killers, most of them, have 3 of those 5. So maybe there was physical abuse of Derrick Lee Todd when he was younger. He was severely abused by his father, and mother did nothing to stop it. I wasn't able to find that, but thank you, Lieutenant RN. I'm going to be in Reading in June, says Purple. Oh, I found their names, but no depth of religion or abuse. All right, question number 9. What is the reason why the FBI believes he may have killed 9 additional people, women, and why wasn't he charged with it? The correct answer is D as in dog. There's no DNA or very little DNA it's not linking back to Derrick Lee Todd, and he never confessed to them. Then again, of the 7 murders that he did, he was convicted of actually, committing, he didn't give a complete confession or a confession to all 7 of those. So maybe there's more, maybe there's not. But the MO of what, how these women were killed all match up with Derrick Lee Todd. But then again, we don't know. But Derrick Lee Todd is no longer here to tell us about, if he actually committed those murders. Question number 10. Picture this. You're at home. It's about 6:30 p.m. and you hear a knock at your door. You can't go answer it because you're taking a pie out of the oven. Which victim did this actually happen to? Was it A, Louise Parker Ray, B. Geraldine De Soto, C. Marcia Clark, or D. Jan Brady? Question number 10 of 20. Picture this. You're at home, it's about 6:30 p.m., and you hear a knock at the door, and you can't go answer it because you're taking a pie out of the oven. Which victim did this actually happen to? Question number 10 of 20. Hatred destroys everyone. Yeah, I'll agree with that, Rykart. Definitely shortens your lifespan. I know they've been able to prove that. Inner peace. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. E, the situation. Gianna Marie is going with B. So is lemon pie. They're going with B. Question number 10 of 20. Rykart, C and D, of course. One of the episodes in the Brady Bunch. Gala. B. I'm copying you, Kitty Coo. All right. Question number 10. The correct answer is B as in boy. Geraldine De Soto. It wasn't an apple pie. It wasn't even a fruit pie. It was a meat pie that she was baking that day. And when she did take it out of the oven and she set it down on the counter to cool, she went to the door and answered it. And who was there but Derrick Lee Todd? Geraldine De Soto. Oh, good news. I have a great new granddaughter born yesterday. Well, congratulations, Purple. I hope she's healthy and and everything else. And congratulations to the parents as well. All right. Marcia Clark was the one of the prosecutors in the O.J. Simpson case, and Jan Brady is from the Brady Bunch. Louise Parker Ray is another victim to another killer. So, in case you guys are wondering who the other three were. All right, this is now our break time. Take 6 minutes. Do what you need to do. You do you. Six minutes, not enough time, says Dean Winward. Good evening, Dean. Welcome to our trivia night. 6 minutes is not long enough. I guess it all depends on what you need to do. 6 minutes is more than enough time to dispatch another victim. 6 minutes is more than enough time to use the restroom, pour a cup of coffee. It all depends on what you need to do, I guess, for the 6 minutes. I'm going to reheat my food, says Rykart. There you go. I'm going to go buy some KFC. The KFC make you hungry, Inner Peas? I'm only 6 to 10, though. Will always has questions I don't have notes on. 6 minutes can be a long time. It can. on double time the speed and catch up. No, I didn't even think about that, Kitty. When I put these trivia nights together, um, for Kitty says that she didn't have notes on some of the stuff, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background on that. When I put these trivia nights together, I use like 4 or 5 different sources for the actual questions itself. So I come up with the question, and then I try to find the answer. But for each and every trivia night, I try to answer the question: who is the actual perpetrator? Right. Let's get to know. Have some questions that are getting to know who the individual is, and then I try to find questions that are related to actual victims, the victimology. Then I try to so maybe I pick 3 questions that are where you get to know the perpetrator. 3 questions on knowing the victimology or the victims themselves, and then I'll pick one. Then I start to try to find questions that are pertaining to actual individuals or the background that makes that perpetrator unique. But those are different from the first 3. And then I don't put them like, okay, here's 3 questions about the perpetrator. Next 3 questions are about the victimology. In that order, I mix them all up because I'm working on 3 separate trivia nights all at the same time. So I'm doing that, like, a week ago, I was doing Derrick Lee Todd and 2 additional trivia nights on 2 different subjects. And as I find the questions, and the different sources, I'll watch interviews with the individual, from, are they on death row? Did they do interviews while the court case was going on? Did they do an interview after the case? Did the police suspect them, and they were interviewed as a possible witness at some point? So that's where all the questions come from. You're going to love being a great grandmother. This is the 2nd great grandchild. Wow. Great grandmothers. Oh, dang. Well, I'll have to find another way to cheat at this. You can use, I highly encourage everyone to use Google or whatever, phone a friend, reach over and slap that hubby awake on the couch. Don't physically, I'm not telling you to physically assault your hubby. But anybody or any source that you can come up with. And yeah, some of the questions are actually a little bit obscure, but I do that on purpose. There are a lot of sources out there for for information on these serial killers, and unfortunately, a lot of people believe that when it comes to serial killers, everything is on the internet. You can learn everything about somebody like Charles Manson or Ted Bundy. It's all on the internet. That's not true. Not everything is on the internet. And then what is on the internet, you have to scrub through it and find out. You might come up with a question, or in an answer to a trivia question, and then it turns out to be absolutely bogus, because anybody can put something on the internet and say, hey, did you know that Ted Bundy's favorite candy bar was Three Musketeers? It's not, but they can put that on the internet and put up a vlog and start talking about all the times that Ted Bundy bought Three Musketeers. Chatty Manson. That's how I got through high school. Mr. Frosty. Good evening, Mr. Frosty. I hope you're doing well. Glad you could be here with us. All right, we got 40 seconds until break is over. 40 seconds. Did Ted Bundy have a collie named Lassie? I do not know if he ever had a dog at any time other than when he was growing up. And the dog wasn't just his. I know they had a dog and a cat when after his mother married the man who would eventually adopt him. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 11 is now on your screen. How many episodes of the hit drama TV show Criminal Minds are based on the events around Derrick Lee Todd's murders? Is it A, 5, B, 4, C, 3, or D, 2? Here, Lassie. Here, Lassie. Did Timmy fall down the well? Cement Shoes is going with A. How many episodes of the hit drama TV show Criminal Minds are based on the events around Derrick Lee Todd's murders? Sal's going with D. Purple going with A as well. Ooh, Cement A, Sal D, Purple A, Kitiku C, Gala C. Inner P's E, all of them. Every episode of Criminal Minds is about Derrick Lee Todd and his murders. Gianna Marie is going with C as well. Lieutenant RN is going with A. E, also googly eyes. All right, question 11. The correct answer is C as in cat. The following 3 episodes of Criminal Minds are based on the events around the murders that Derrick Lee Todd committed. Those episodes are called Crying Baby. And the next one is Tubula Rasa. And then the last one was Children of the Dark. 3 episodes of Criminal Minds. Mr. Frosty, don't watch that show. I like Criminal Minds, at least the earlier, like the first couple, 3 or 4 seasons. I'd like the Criminal Minds. After they started changing the cast and who was in charge, of the BAU, it kind of lost me there. But and when they started diving into like personal stories, about the individuals. I mean, it's nice to put some context behind the individuals who are solving these crimes, but I wanted to watch more about the perpetrator out there who was doing shit, in and around America and them solving crimes. But anyways, I liked it when it first started. All right, question number 12. While in prison awaiting his execution, Derrick started a pen pal business, finding people in the free world to write to condemned prisoners. What was this business called? Was it called A, Zachary Writes, B, Freedom Writers, C, Bovar Letters, or D, Doomsday Writers? While in prison awaiting his execution, Derrick started a pen pal business, finding people in the free world to write to condemned prisoners. What was this business called? And on a side note, if you were a condemned prisoner, someone who was on death row, and you wanted to be part of this pen pal business, you wanted to receive letters, you had to pay Derrick Lee Todd some kind of commissary to be, to get to be put on the list, so he would find you pen pals to write with, people to write to you, and you write to. Beats me. B, says Sal. Inner P's, Dear John. Dear John letters. Record D, 144,000. Dummies waiting for the chair, says Cement Shoes. Oh. But for what it's worth, if he got pen pals for every single person on death row, every single one of them. was all part of this, paying him commissary every month to be in this, to get people, pen pals. No, the only thing I can do with my left hand is eat and shoot. I can't shoot with my left hand. I can do it with my right hand, but I have muscle apathy in my left hand, Gayla. I can't. It's hard enough for me. I have feeling in my thumb, index finger, and my middle finger on my left hand. The other two fingers, I can't move completely, nor can I hold anything in that hand. I lost all the muscle by the elbow here, but I can hold a pen in my left hand like Bob Dole. Rest your soul, Bob Dole. All right, question number 12 of 20. The correct answer is B as in boy. It was called the Freedom Writers. Freedom Writers. It was a business that he actually started while on death row for him and other condemned prisoners, because he knew how to get different groups. He would, and how it originally started off was he would write to churches, different Catholic churches and Seventh-day Adventist churches, because they were against the death penalty. He's like, okay, if these people are against death penalty, they can put us in contact with people who will want to write to death row inmates. So he would write them and say, I'm looking for pen pals for 12 people, and then he got everybody else on death row to sign up and give him some commissary, because they're on lockdown 23-1, or whatever, lockdown. They only get an hour a day out in the free, the air, to exercise yard inside of a cage. But he would talk to the other ones and they'd say, yeah, I'll kick you a ramen noodle or whatever it might have been, to be able to, get a pen pal. You want another pen pal the next month, you got to keep on paying. And it worked. And everybody enjoyed it because they got people they could write to and would tell them about what was going on in the world. Some of them already had family and friends, who were there in contact with. But it's always nice to hear from somebody new. So it was a pretty good, little side hustle for him. Bob Dole's wife is from my hometown. Used to see them visiting Elizabeth's mother. Wow, I did not know that, Lieutenant RM. Bob Dole was, a great man, and unfortunately, a lot of history is slanted against, him and his contributions to, America. But he was a great man. A lot of people don't pay him enough respect. All right, going on to question number 13. He watched her for weeks on end. When he finally decided to make his move, he was surprised she had a disabled roommate who never left the home. Which potential victim was this? Was it A, Marsha Brady, B, Sarah Marshall, C, only listed as Jean or Jane Doe, or D, La Quinta Alvarez? He watched her, this is a quote, he watched her for weeks on end. When he finally decided to make his move, he was surprised she had a disabled roommate who never left the home. Which potential victim was this? No, Reichert, he was a politician and a war veteran. Senator Bob Dole. He has since passed. Penny Marshall. He wasn't a talk show host. Nope. No, he was a senator. He was. He watched her for weeks on end. When he finally decided to make his move, he was surprised she had a disabled roommate who never left the home. Kitty Koo is going with C. Cement, Sal, and Gianna Marie are all going with D. Lemon Pie is going with C. Question number 13 of 20. Gala is going with C as well. He ran against Clinton for president. Should have been elected president in 1996 instead of Billary. Yeah, well, there were some issues that, and getting the vote out that didn't help him in 1996. All right, question number 13. The correct answer is C as in cat. She is only listed in the legal papers, and that came up during the trial as Jean or Jane Doe. Jean or Jane Doe. Don't know who she is, but that it's in the actual court papers itself, and it came up as part of the testimony. Jean or Jane Doe. All right, question number 14. When Derrick Lee Todd finally came to the conclusion he wasn't going to get a new trial and was going to be executed, he sat down and took not one, but 3 IQ tests. What was the highest score he got? Was it A, 65, B, 91, C, 45, or D, 109? When Derrick Lee Todd finally came to the conclusion he wasn't going to get a new trial and he was going to be executed, he sat down and took 3 IQ tests. What was his highest? Sal's going with A. Gianna Marie is going with A as well. Lemon Pie, B. Rackard, C. Lieutenant RN is going with A. Kitty Q is going with A as well. Derrick Lee Todd, what was the highest IQ that he scored that he had? Why did they give these guys IQ tests? Asks Reichardt. Find out what their intelligence level is. A lot of people think that that serial killers are masterminds, or they think they're the complete opposite, that they're complete morons. They don't want to think that a serial killer is able to have just average intelligence, where most serial killers are. There are, yes, some who are Mensa level of intelligence, like genius level. There are more that are average in intelligence, and very few serial killers are dumber than snot. Gump. He scored an F. Cement Shoes is going with B. F for Gump. All right. What a waste. All right, Derrick Lee Todd, the highest score he got on the 3 IQ tests that he took. The correct answer is A as in apple. 65 was the highest he got. He scored a 60 on one, a 63 on the other, and a 65 was the highest one on the third. Why did he take them? Because they're 3 separate companies that are international companies that do IQ tests. He took one of each one of them because they wanted to see would he score higher on one test than the other because they're separate tests from different companies. And so he took one of each. But the highest score he got was a 65. You might be interested in the total background of education for Derrick Lee Todd. So now that we know that his 65, which is a low score, comparatively, he finished the 11th grade in high school, did not complete high school at all. And by all means, by the time he reached the 11th grade, he had just barely skated through school to get to the 11th grade. He, from like 9th, 10th, 11th, he might as well have not even been going to school because he wasn't doing the work and he wasn't even trying. At least that's from a former teacher of his who did an interview years after Derrick Lee Todd was died. All right, my hubby was talking and I forgot to answer. Oh, sorry. All right, question number 15. Everyone who ever crossed paths with Derrick Lee Todd all described him the same way. Which one from below is how they described him? Is it A, highly intelligent and a go-getter? B, a smooth talker and very personal? C, sharp dresser and charming? Or D, a bully and violent for no reason? Everyone who crossed paths with Derrick Lee Todd all described him the same way. Which one from the list below is how they described him? Lieutenant RM, Gianna, Sal, and Lemon Pie are all going with B, smooth talker. That would make him a smooth criminal. Now you can start singing the song Smooth, Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson in your head. He was good with cats. Rock Cotton Purple are going with B as well. Doing homework, and then he'd tell me what he just learned. I'll never get through this. Question number 15 of 20. Mr. Frosty's going with D, Kitty Q, B, question mark. Question number 15 of 20. The correct answer is B as in boy. Smooth talker and very personal. It's how everyone who ever ran, cross paths with Derrick Lee Todd, they said he was a very smooth individual and very likable, personal, of a man. No one ever described him as a violent individual, but we all know that he was. He kept it hidden, away from everyone. Hence how he got away with killing for so long. All right, question number 16. From the same interview he gave with ABC News, when asked if he could go back in time, change who he became, Derrick's answer was what? A, why change? I'm a great person. B, I would change very little. C, killing is fun. Why change? Or D, all of the above? In this pick, right now? No, there's a man to the right, a man to the left, or was he talking about the picture before? I didn't look at the background. Hold on a second. All right, so everybody look at question number 16 really quick. I'll be right back. We'll go back to 15. Nope, that's a man. I think there is one with a a very large female guard, but I don't know if I ever used that picture in the and it is all these images come from Getty Images, and I have to pay for a license, which is, well, it's nominal breakdown because I'm paying for a year's subscription now. But some of these you can actually find on the internet underneath in the domain of free use. The previous pick, now the previous picture on question number 15, Reichardt, that is a man. Go back to 14. 13 is just him. 14, okay, there is a woman behind the guard there. He's in the white, Derrick Lee Todd's in the white shirt with a tie. That is an officer to his right, or my right, I'm looking at, and there is a woman behind him there, and then a man, African-American man, to his left. In question number 14. Question 15, with the blue shirt and the star, the badge on it that's printed on the shirt, that is a guard, that is a man. Question number 16, where we are right now, those are men on each side of him. But what did he say if he, when asked the question, if you could go back in time and change who he became, what was Derrick Lee's answer for question number 16? The correct answer is D as in dog, all of the above. He said he was a great person. He would change very little about his life, and that killing was fun. So why change really anything? All of the above, D as in dog. And hello, friendly talker. Welcome to tonight's trivia. We are currently on question number 16 of 20. If you wish to, afterwards, you can go back and rewatch all of tonight's, or just slide the little cursor back to question number 1 if you wish. But I'm glad you could be here with us tonight. I'd become a ballerina. Should have been a baseball player. I don't think he had much. If he had any interest in sports, I don't remember reading anything about it. He really must have had a bad upbringing. I again, I couldn't find much information about his mother or father. Now, I think Lieutenant RN said that his father was extremely abusive and his mother didn't do anything to stop it. I mean, I wasn't able to find information like that. I would love to find more information about the man, like that, but I wasn't able to. But I'm not doubting that it's not true. I just wasn't able to find it while I was looking to put these trivia questions together. All right, question number 17 of 20. In trouble with the law since the age of 7. Yes, 7 years of age. What were the first crimes Derrick was caught committing at age 7? Was it A, stealing money from his school, B, shoplifting under $20 of value, C, shoplifting over $20 of value, or D, selling stolen property? MP is 7, yes. The first time he was detained, arrested, whatever you might want to call it, was at the age of 7. Kitiku is going with A, and Lemon Pie and Gianna Marie as well. Some men choose overdue library books. Sal's going with A. You got to turn those library books in. Smoking those pretend gum cigarettes. Oh, Lemon Pie. That's a federal crime right there. Ripping those tags off your mattresses. Question number 17 of 20. In trouble with the law since the age of 7. What were the first crimes where Derrick was caught committing at the age of 7? The correct answer to question number 17 is A as in apple. He stole money out of the cash box in the school office. He got caught doing it not once, but twice. And they prosecuted him for it at the age of 7. I don't know what the prosecution outcome of that was. I found a copy of the actual arrest, but I would guess it'd be what time in served or whatever if he was detained, a court fine, repay the money he took. I don't know. I'm sure they didn't put him on the chain gang, in the state of Louisiana. Although, in the state of Louisiana, they've had some pretty messed up, incarceration rules over the years. 144,000 days with his library books. I buy those. My grandkids send them to their house. Gayla went with A on that one. Yeah. All right. Question number 18. Going back to the interview he gave to ABC News, Derrick said he always wanted to do what for a living when he grew up. It was an A, become a school teacher, B, a welder underwater, C, a law enforcement, or D, a construction worker. What did Derrick say he always wanted to do when he grew up? Oh, do we still have those? They were my favorite. The candy cigarettes. I've seen them every now and then. We used to have a store locally here that used to sell what they called retro candy. Like all the candy you probably remember from growing up. But that store is no longer, in business. It's now a European store, like just sells imported foods, canned, and box food from Europe. But the store that used to be there before them had, retro candy. They also had a soda fountain. Like you would have like in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, where you go in. They had people who were actual soda jerks. They put the actual syrup in the cup and then add the actual water to it and then stir it up. Really cool. I see candy cigarettes, cigars are good, but too expensive. Kitty Q is going with D, question mark. Deanna Marie C. Whatever you do not look up cement shoes answer. He's going with E, a fluffer. Do not look up what a fluffer is unless you really want to know. I missed the trash can. Darn it. Only like 5 feet away, and I bounced it right off the rim of the trash can. Fluffer. Will, you're too late. Oh, you already looked it up. Sorry. All right, question number 18. In that interview, he said that when he was growing up, he always wanted to do one thing when he got older, but he never got the opportunity to actually do it. And that answer, what he said was B as in boy. He wanted to be a welder that did underwater repair. A very unique individual, and I've met actually people who do that, and they put them in these giant, like, weighted suits to send them down to do dam repairs on dams and oil rigs and everything else offshore. But underwater welder is what he always wanted to do, but he never got the opportunity to actually do it. He never even went to trade school. But a welder. I've never heard of this guy before, but I really, really don't like him. I don't like him either, and I've heard of him before. All right, question number 19. Hard to believe, but the internet is filled with fans of Derrick Lee Todd. There are even people who say they escaped his deadly rampage. Fact is, only one victim survived. Who was it? Is it A, Trishina Colcom? I don't know how you pronounce that. B, Carrie Yoder. C, Diana Alexander. Or D, Gina Green. Hard to believe, but the internet is filled with fans of Derrick Lee Todd. There are even people who say they escaped his deadly rampage. Fact is, only one victim survived. Who was it? Question number 19 of 20. Wanted to learn welding so he could break through the prison bars? Maybe. I don't think he was going to get, even if he would have broken out of the prison, bars on death row there, I don't think he was going to get off the property unless he took his welding equipment and everything else with him to cut through each section of fence and stuff. Yana Marie is going with D. Sal. Kitty Coo, Levin Pie, and Cement Shoes are all going with C. Question number 19 of 20. All right, so fans of Derrick Lee Todd on the actual murder memorabilia, like sites like that, and people who are into serial killers in the deep, dark parts of the internet where, well, I'm not on the dark web, but on the regular internet. There are a lot of people who are fans of Derrick Lee Todd and believe that he was given a raw deal and that some of the crimes that he was convicted of, he didn't commit. These people are super fans of his, along with some other serial killers, and they talk about it. You can find some of that bleed over conversation even on Reddit. These same groups and individuals, you'll find them on Reddit as well, talking about and asking questions amongst themselves in open groups on Reddit about Derrick Lee Todd. All right, the correct answer to question number 19, the correct answer is C as in cat. Diana Alexander is the only known victim to ever survive an attack by Derrick Lee Todd. And the only reason why she survived is because the attack was interrupted by her son. He was in the middle of actually, let's just say, he was removing body parts at the time that he was doing it, and her son came in and attacked Derrick Lee Todd, and Derrick Lee Todd took off running, and she survived the actual attack. But that is the only known person to survive an attack from Derrick Lee Todd. Every other one died. Now, there are people out there who also additionally say that and I think they're doing it mainly because they want people to look at them. They want people to think that they're important. But they report, even in these groups and on Reddit, that they survived an attack from Derrick Lee Todd. And according to the FBI, again, Diana Alexander was the only known survivor of an attack by Derrick Lee Todd. These other people are not survivors of an attack by Derrick Lee Todd. Maybe it was an individual who looked like them, like Derrick Lee Todd, same build and everything else. Maybe it happened in the same area, but it wasn't him. And you'll find people who are they call them hangers on. They try to attach themselves to a historical case or an individual, and they like to say that they're either related to the individual or they were going to be a victim of that individual because they want people to look at them and it makes them feel important. Hangers on. All right. Question number 20. In the end, Derrick Lee Todd suffered a lot of pain in his final minutes of life. It doesn't come close to the pain he inflicted in his lifetime, though. How did Derrick Lee Todd die? Was it A, lethal injection, B, the electric chair, C, gas chamber, or D, heart attack in the hospital? How did Derrick Lee Todd die? Question 20 of 20. Kitaku, Lieutenant RNG, Anna Marie, and Sal are all going with D. E says, in her peas, too much KFC. Get the old cholesterol. Or maybe it's too much KFC and he died of a heart attack in the hospital. Huh? I mean, that could be it. Gayla, I'm hoping it was B. Messed up. A, says Tina Reddington. And good evening, Tina. If I didn't say hello earlier, I'm truly sorry. I hope you had an excellent weekend. Cement shoes B, I hope. How did Derrick Lee Todd die? Question 20 of 20. My mom just asked for KFC for Mother's Day. I haven't had KFC in an awfully long time. Then again, I don't generally eat fast food. I'd rather cook. Friendly Talker is going with C, the gas chamber. E, says Lemon Pie, an alligator came up through the toilet and got him. Sal, I'm hungry. Y'all quit. All right, question 20 of 20. The correct answer is D as in dog. He died of a massive heart attack while in the hospital. He was there getting another procedure done, and he died of a massive heart attack. In the final minutes of his life, he suffered greatly because they didn't have the option to give him any pain medication because they didn't know what was going on. Then he started to complain of something else and was in writhing pain and then died from his heart attack. If he would have went through with the execution there in the state of Louisiana, he would have died of lethal injection. But he died in the hospital. How did you do tonight? This is completely optional to do. You do not have to give yourself a letter grade. Some people like to do it. Others don't even keep score. It's completely up to you. All right. Of the 20 questions on tonight's trivia, I knew exactly 11 of the 20 as I was putting these questions together for trivia. So I would have gotten a B on this one, barely though. But those 11 questions of the trivia questions tonight, I knew the 11 of out of the 20. C, I had fun anyways. Well, great. That's what matters. And you learn something new. It's always nice to learn something new, even if I'm Derrick Lee Todd is not exactly a household name that a lot of people kick around when they're talking about serial killers, but he was just as awful as any other serial killer, more sadistic, hedonistic, in that way. Better than a 65 IQ score. Kiddick got a B. Well, that's good. I failed. I'm standing in the corner. I wanted to scroll back up. I didn't get a chance to read your other post, Gayla. Your mom lives in a facility that has award-winning chefs, and she doesn't like the food. Oh. Well, and Sal likes homemade fried chicken. Sometime this week, I'm going to make chicken. I just bought chicken the other day. I bought a big pack of drumsticks and another pack of chicken breasts. With bone in, obviously. But I'm going to make chicken sometime this week, probably on Thursday, because I already have a meal planned out for Monday and Tuesday, and I don't cook on Wednesdays. Friendly talker, but a D. All right. Well, next is our missing cold case. Our cold case tonight is Kimberly Ann Riley, missing since December 23rd, 1998, from Lorain, Ohio. She was last seen with Omar Seymour. She is 5'2", weight 122 pounds to 130 pounds. Her hair color at the time of her disappearance was brown to light blonde. Obviously, it was a dye. She had her hair done. Blue eyes. Nicknames that she has gone by in the past is Kim, Kimberly, or Miss K. Birthmark. She is missing the fingernail from her ring finger, and that fingernail will never grow back. In the past, she has worn a fake fingernail on her actual finger itself. She lost the fingernail and the ability to grow a fingernail back on that ring finger back in an accident when she was a child. All right. Now, she is the only case tonight. There's not a second one, but here are two more. This is one of the last photos of her in the upper left-hand corner. And this is a picture of the individual she was last seen with, who is Seymour Riley. So, Seymour. Seymour is the African-American man who's there. Omar Seymour, Sr. Riley disappeared with Seymour, who is the father of two of her sons. Riley's grandmother, Bernice Akers, last saw her on December 20th, 1998, and said everything seemed to be normal with Riley at the time. Seymour's mother, Linda D. Waters, reportedly was the last person to see Riley on December 23rd. On Christmas Day, Riley did not arrive at her family's holiday celebration. Akers called Waters, and Waters claimed Riley, accompanied by Seymour, had dropped off her children at Waters' apartment on December 23rd and said she was going to do some last-minute Christmas shopping in Elyria, Ohio, but never returned to pick up her two sons. Akers was worried, and she and her husband collected Riley's sons from the Waters home. The children had only one bottle each in their car seats at the time. No diapers or extra clothing or anything else because it was supposed to be just for a short visit. Akers claimed Waters told three different stories about what happened to Kimberly and the drop off of the children at her home. The next day, Waters called Akers to ask if she had heard from Riley and Seymour. She suggested that perhaps the two of them had run away together. Riley had left behind wrapped Christmas gifts in her apartment, which was unusual, clean and decorated for the holiday season. She didn't normally decorate her apartment for any holiday at all. The only things missing from her apartment and the 1600 block of Cooper Foster Park roadway were some blankets off the bed, two photo albums containing pictures of the children, a large plastic trash bin from the kitchen, Riley's medication, groceries, toothpaste, curlers, and other personal belongings, and all of Seymour's belongings were missing. However, they did find one sock underneath the bed. On December 31st of that year, Riley's mother got a towing bill for Riley's orange 1998 Mazda, which which disappeared with her and Seymour. The car had been found on Dice Street in Cleveland, Ohio, and was towed to an impound lot. When it was returned to her mother, it was stripped of all of Riley's belongings, including the stereo. The car seat had been moved back to the actual seat itself, the car seat, not like a car seat like you put a baby in, had been moved all the way back to accommodate someone much taller than Riley or Seymour. So whoever had been driving the car last was definitely larger than Seymour or Riley. The police did not inspect the car for almost a year. In 1999, when in the spring of that year, there were blood stains on the passenger side of the car and some hair and blood-stained pieces on a cardboard that were found in the trunk. 5 years later, police investigators tested the cardboard that was found in the trunk, and it turned out that the blood that was found in the trunk was Riley's. They were unable to match the blood that was found in the actual car on the floor or on the door panel to Riley. A small amount of blood was found in her and Seymour's shared apartment, again in the 1600 block of Cooper Foster Park roadway. Riley's mother located a photo of Riley in her home where Riley had once lived with Seymour. The picture had the words "Die soon" written across the front of it. Forensically, the letter words "Die soon" appeared to have been written by her, not the boyfriend. Seymour was located in 2004 and was arrested on drug charges. He was sentenced to time served and released after his conviction. He was rearrested in California in 2005 on identity theft charges unrelated to Riley's disappearance. He had been impersonating his mother's boyfriend and was extradited back to Ohio and sentenced to prison for parole violations. Riley was not with him at the time that he was located, but he refused to answer any questions about where she was or if he was with her. Riley's mother stated her daughter had a rocky relationship with Seymour, but the two of them had been working it out. But she additionally went on and said that he had been arrested once for hitting her, but no criminal charges can be found in the state of Ohio or anywhere in the U.S. for an arrest of Riley or of Seymour for a domestic violence. So even though the mother tells a story about that the boyfriend supposedly hit her once and that he was arrested for it, there is no arrest record and no criminal conviction of that ever happening anywhere in the United States. But hey, the mother can believe whatever she wants. She probably is right, or maybe the girlfriend just said no, you guys blew this out of proportion, and they dropped the charges and never made it that far, because that happens a lot in domestic violence situations. In 2007, Riley's mother filed a civil lawsuit against Seymour for Riley's wrongful death. because she had been declared deceased in 2006. Was seeking $25,000 in damages, but the judge ordered Seymour to pay $4.5 million for in the case to Riley's mother. He refused to defend himself in this situation, the case, and has very little, actual, property or anything where they can even hope to get anywhere near $25,000, let alone $4.5 million. But Riley refused to take part in the actual case in the disappearance, and said that he was doing so because he wanted to avoid self-incrimination. Riley's mother stated that she didn't expect actually to receive any of the money, and Seymour again has very few assets. He has been arrested additionally again in California and in Ohio for drug charges. As of 2009, Seymour has dropped off of the face of the internet. Nobody knows where he is or if he is even alive to this day. Okay, that's the background on it. According to an investigator who was hired by Riley's family, who was a retired detective who looked into the case, they believe that Seymour killed Riley at some point along the way. Yes, the two of them ditched their children at the grandmother's home just before Christmas and ran away together. But at some point later on down the road, they do believe once they got to Cleveland area that he did kill her, and that's why they found blood in the car that belonged to her. The other blood that was in the car that was found on the floorboard in the passenger side and on the door panel was very, very little. There was only a couple of drops on door panel and a couple more on the floor that didn't match the actual girlfriend at all, and it didn't match Seymour. They believe that at some point Seymour had stopped using the car and abandoned it, and that's why the seat was moved back. And this is, I guess, this is her hypothesis, is that maybe someone else who was homeless was living in the car, but because when the mother did get the car back, it was nothing of value was in the car, and all of the personal belongings from both of them had been removed, along with the stereo. So they do believe that she is deceased, and there is a very, if that is the case, the only one who's ever going to know where her remains are is Seymour. Now, I wanted to bring you another case, obviously, because I always do too, but I kind of went down that rabbit hole of trying to figure out where the hell this guy was and if he's still alive. He might be incarcerated someplace, and I just haven't been able to find the right state yet. I don't know. But not all the stories out there, end happily. Charles Nelson Riley. His complete name is Omar Sharif Seymour Sr. Kimberly Ann Riley. And I forgot to say that the second photo that is on the right hand side, that is not an actual photograph of her. That is an age enhanced photo of what she would look like today if she is alive. Very sad story. It is. But this is the featured case on the Charlie Project this month. Once a month, they pick another subject, another missing case, and they profile it for people. This case is being talked about on, you'll find it on web sleuths and on Reddit and other forums. There are Facebook groups, but Yeah, and Seymour, again, he won't say anything about it because of, doesn't want to incriminate himself. He won't even tell the parents, if she's alive or what. He could just simply say she's alive in Ohio and she's homeless. That's all he would have to say. But he won't even say that. He won't take part in anything at all, or at least then. And nobody knows where he is now. So, well, I want to wrap it up there, everyone. I want to thank everybody for stopping in and playing trivia tonight. I hope that you all have a terrific week ahead. And I want to thank you again for being here. And on the way out, if you'll hit that thumbs up button, I would appreciate it. You know, if you're watching this, after the fact, in rewind or whatever you want to call it, after the live stream, I would appreciate again if you give it a thumbs up, and share, without your friends, or leave a comment. It's all I ever ask. But thank you again, everyone. You all have a great week and stay safe out there. Oh, and if you're on the email list to be notified of which trivia night is coming up, you'll get the actual email on Tuesday, not Monday, on Tuesday this week. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. And you all have a terrific week. Bye.